Here's the hidden agenda behind the signing of the Pukpuk Treaty that the West are afraid to tell us. Buckle up, are you ready? Let's go. The 2025 Pukpuk Treaty, as we all know, is the second to none major security alliance between Australia and Papua New Guinea after the 1951 ANZUS Treaty. Australia, in this case, has three major security alliances.
PNG is now our third ally, along with the United States and with New Zealand.
Notice that US is also part of the major security alliance called the NATO, formed in the aftermath of World War II and in fear of the Soviet expansionism. To date, it has about 32 member nations, and Ukraine is trying all it could to be part of it in fear of Russia.
We made a deal on rare earth, and now he's saying, well, you know, I want to renegotiate the deal. He wants to be a member of NATO. Well, he was never going to be a member of NATO. He understands that. So.
Why rare earth? In that US had to do whatever it takes, even if it means to bypass the United Nations Charter that embraced the principles of 1648 Treaty of Westphalia, whereby every state is sovereign over its own territory, in that nothing should authorize interventions in matters essentially within the domestic jurisdiction of any state. We'll talk more on that in the next video. But why was US and the West assisting their stance like never before, from imposing tariffs to declaring climate change an hoax?
It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion.
You see, US has a debt of $31 trillion and no longer has its currency backed by gold as it used to be since the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944 that ended in 1971. Yet constantly printing money in the quest to make peace around the world, only to increase their deficit even more and violating international laws. To their surprise, an outcry of a new alternative is said when BRICS came on board.
Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. These 5 countries are together called BRICS. It's a grouping, and this group may soon disrupt the global power structure.
The BRICS formed in the aftermath of dollar manipulation and Western hegemonic imperialistic mind map. Today, there are over 40 states all across the world, including some Pacific Island states, have shown their interest to see what the BRICS could offer. Now, you tell me, do you think the US and its allies are quiet on that?
I told anybody who wants to be in BRICS, that's fine, but we're going to put tariffs on your nation. Everybody dropped out. They're all dropping out of BRICS.
Nope, not at all. They are not sleeping, they are on their toes. Little did the West know is that soon the world's wealth will be divided into two. The one with dollar as the medium of international trade, or the one with free direct trade backed by gold. These are serious talks, and the West will not watch in silence while allowing another power to dethrone them of their long-seated dynasty. They wanted to be there for as long as it takes. From imposing tariffs to ignoring talks on climate change to keep drill baby drill going so to reduce reliance on China and Russia, and ultimately fix their debt of $31 trillion so that dollar dominance will remain for as long as it takes. This also includes heavily supporting its partners towards extending its security reach to the far ends of the earth. And the Pukpuk Treaty is nothing but a dream comes true alongside ANZUS. The West has just solidified their reach in the Pacific region via Australia in real time. You see, the West are trying all they could in that with or without the Global South, typically the BRICS, the humanity must thrive. In other words, whose pawns will have more fish? If you really think that the security partnership has got nothing to do with economy, you will prove yourself wrong when we discover it in the next video. But you don't build your business in an open fence, don't you? Otherwise you might be broke even before you start. First comes the security, then comes the development. With the Pukpuk Treaty, ANZUS and NATO combined, here's how our security partnership looks like in totality. Which means an attack to Papua New Guinea is an attack to Australia, New Zealand, United States of America, and ultimately the 31 other NATO members. And Papua New Guinea, don't be surprised when we begin to make business talks that favors the West more than ours. Even the 31 other NATO member states had to comply when Trump makes the calls to cease buying crude oil from Russia and also to not to grant them the visa to travel. What a sanction that was that only favored US more than its security partners, even though they strongly know that by taking those actions will greatly affect the economy. This is just to give an example of how hegemonic the West could be in real time, in that sometimes such security partnership can be used against our will. More talks on that will be done going forward, but for now, thanks for watching. Peace.